rid of that because now we're going to do what we are going to do today. So for this project, you will need a pen or writing utensil of some sort. Pencil works, marker works. Use what you have. Just like always, be resourceful. You will need paper. Doesn't have to be white paper. It could be construction paper. It can be newspaper. You will need different types of paper. So if you have scrapbooking paper, that's kind of fun. If you have construction paper, you want more than one color. Yeah, look at lined paper works just as fine, and I even have some newspaper. If you don't have any of these, what you can do is you take your white paper, you take crayons or whatever you have with you, and you color and make your own paper. What we are going to do with these papers, you need at least 2 different colors, is we are going to tear and turn and make our own organic, freeform, natural, abstract shapes. That means I don't want to see a square anymore, or a rectangle, or a trapezoid, or a hexagon. I want something that doesn't fit like the geometric category. It needs to be a rule breaker. So do that. You tear you little bit and you turn the paper. Turn up, tear. Turn, tear, turn, tear. Notice how I'm making a really weird edge. Turn, tear. Sometimes it's really easy, and sometimes I can just, there you go. Don't get rid of this. You will need it for later. So here's 1. I said we needed 2. I'm going to use my example of what you do if you don't have construction paper. Now, this is what happens if you just tear straight down. That is still a straight edge. I don't really care for it. Could you then turn and tear and make it a little more interesting? Yes. So go for it. So there we go. We have our 2 organic natural shapes. There's one last thing I forgot that you do need. You do need a glue stick. You will glue these down, and then I will show you what to do next. Okay, boys and girls, we have glued down our 2 pieces, and this is where you get a choice. You can leave it in portrait style, which is tall and skinny, or you can do what I'm going to do because I think my shapes look way cooler this way. And you can turn it so that they are now landscape or horizontal. What we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 organic, natural, freeform, abstract shapes, and we are going to find the monster. This is a character design practice. I have done it multiple times. And it really just, because we made these weird shapes, it really helps create fun and interesting creatures. So, some of my students, you might have done a similar project with me called Find the Bird. Well, now I'm not going to restrict you to just birds. I'm going to restrict you just to your imagination. And those scraps I told you not to throw away, we've torn up into little pieces, and maybe you have more than one color. So if you really want, you can add and explore to your monsters. Now, closing your eyes, I want you to think, what does your monster look like? Does it have wings? Does it have horns? How many eyes does it have? How many legs? Does it have legs? Are they tentacles? Are they like bird claws? Does it have sharp teeth? Does it have tusks? Maybe like an elephant or a boar? I want you to think, I want you to explore, and I want you to be creative. I'm also going to stop motion and be creative with my 2 shapes. So, here we go. once you've explored and you've determined what you want and what you think your monsters are going to look like, you need to glue them down. Now, I know not everyone has a glue stick, but hopefully you have some sort of adhesive. That means like a glue, tape, glue stick, something to stick it all down. And you're going to glue it down, and then you get to add the fine details. So I'm going to stop and do stop motion again and show you how you can add fine details. Okay, boys and girls, everything is glued down pretty good. I might go back and add some more glue to this guy's legs because they make me a little worried. Always make sure everything is glued down nice and flat, because otherwise your monsters might run away on you. Now, we have our shapes. We have everything glued down. Now we get to add all the fun, fine details. Now, before I told you, remember, you had to have like a writing utensil. So if all you have is a pencil, totally okay. Just go for it. Now, I'm pretending my beast has like a pig, buffalo, cow nose. I can totally do that. Or if I have a black marker, I can totally go in and add some fine details. Now, I also think my monster, so these are his horns, and they're like ridged. So I want to add some ridges, and I add some lines. Straight, slanted lines kind of give you that ridged effect. And then he has fur. And if I do little short little stick lines, I can add some fur. And maybe he has some scales. So that's sort of like a backwards 3 or capital E in cursive. Or maybe he has scales like this. There's many different ways to do scales, boys and girls. It's you using your knowledge and you exploring what you think it's going to look like. Do not be afraid to do this multiple times. It is your monster. He has bristles on his chin. He's scaly and furry. And you know, I didn't give him a tail, but I kind of wanted to have tail, so it's okay if I add it. Kind of fun, huh? So that's him. Actually, there you go. Now, maybe some of you are lucky and you have gel pens. Now, gel pens come in many different colors. So let's say I wanted to add some white, just because I wanted to add just a little more detail to my creature. Maybe his scales have a little bit of a shine. Just to give you an example. Now, some of you are going to be very extra lucky and you're probably going to have permanent markers. Permanent markers are going to be a little better than that other marker I was using, because as you can tell, if I were to zoom in on his eye, it kind of gets a little flat. It doesn't really want to stick because that's a water-based marker and that's wax. They don't like each other from the crayon. So another marker. Zigzag line makes me have jaws like teeth. Anyway, he's furry. He's a very furry, fuzzy monster. I know, you're like, wait a minute. Monsters are scary. Doesn't mean they can't be furry and fuzzy. And he's bumpy. As you can see, this marker works a lot better on your crayons. But he's wrinkly around his eyes because he doesn't get to sleep much. He's too stressed out. Once again, I can go back with my gel marker. Now, as I said before, some of you don't have gel markers, but some of you might have something else. You might have some whiteout. Now, I'm going to give him some toes. Be resourceful. Use what you have in your home. If you have whiteout, if you don't worry about it. It's just something like, oh, look how fun. Add a little extra fun. So, 2 organic shapes. You turn and use the scraps. You layer it, you glue it, and you create 2 monsters. I would like to know who your monsters are. For example, this is Larry. And this is Bob. Are they friendly? Would I not want to come across them in the middle of the night? I'm going to say Bob is fine. He's a cuddler. Larry, only if he has coffee. If he doesn't have coffee, you do not want to be anywhere near Larry without coffee. He's sort of like me. Anyways, tune in next time. Please take pictures, post, and that is a wrap.